was a 74-year-old widow, living in quiet solitude after the loss of my beloved husband, Robert. The house felt like an empty shell, echoing with memories that once brought joy but now only amplified my isolation. My daughter, Emily, had noticed how withdrawn I'd become since Whiskers, my faithful cat, passed away too. She insisted I needed companionship, something to fill the void. "Mom, adopt a dog from the shelter," she urged gently. "It'll keep you company." Little did she know how profoundly that decision would alter my world, drawing me into an unexpected bond that stirred emotions I'd long buried at first. Max was simply a rescue dog, energetic, with soulful eyes and a coat as soft as velvet. He seemed to sense my moods instinctively, nudging my hand with his cold nose when sorrow crept in, his tail wagging like a silent promise of better days. I talked to him endlessly, sharing whispers of my past with Robert, the way his laughter used to light up our home. It felt harmless, natural. Even who doesn't confide in a pet when the nights stretch long and empty? But as weeks turned to months, our connection deepened into something more intimate, a warmth that blurred the lines between comfort and longing. His presence became a balm, yet it awakened stirrings I hadn't felt in years. A subtle pull that made my heart quicken in ways I couldn't ignore. One evening, on the anniversary of Robert's death, grief hit me like a wave, leaving me curled on the couch with tears streaming down my face. Max wasn't just nearby. He climbed up beside me, resting his head in my lap, his eyes locked on mine as if he could feel the weight of my grief. "You're a good boy, Max," I murmured, my fingers tracing the soft fur behind his ears. In that moment, the pain in my heart softened, replaced by a gentle heat that spread through me. His gaze held an almost human depth, conveying understanding and tenderness that no words could capture. It was as if he saw straight into my soul, offering solace that felt profoundly personal, stirring a desire for closeness I thought was lost forever. As our routine evolved, Max began shadowing me everywhere, his body brushing against mine in quiet moments that sent subtle shivers along my skin. Mornings found him at the foot of my bed, where Robert once lay, his warmth a welcome intrusion that I started to crave. Evenings grew into shared silences, his head on my thigh as I read, the rhythm of his breathing syncing with mine. It wasn't merely companionship. It was an inexplicable bond, one that filled the empty spaces in my life with a sensual undercurrent of connection. I caught myself lingering in those touches, my hand gliding over his back, feeling the steady rise and fall of his chest, a reminder of life's persistent pulse amid my loneliness. But disturbances crept in. Moments when his stare lingered too long, filled with an anticipation that mirrored my own unspoken yearnings. One late night, after finishing my tea, Max bounded into the bedroom and settled right beside me on the bed, his big brown eyes boring into mine. My chest fluttered strangely. "What are you doing, Max?" I asked, laughing softly to mask the tension building inside. He didn't budge, just watched me with an intensity that ignited a snowballing warmth in my core. I couldn't look away. In that gaze, I swore I glimpsed something beyond the ordinary, a spark that confused and compelled me. As he shifted closer, resting his head against my hip, a wave of warmth spread over me, trembling fingers reaching out to caress him, reigniting bonds I'd forsaken. Nights like that multiplied, each one drawing us nearer, his body pressing against mine in ways that comforted yet unsettled. I woke once under moonlight, finding him inches from my face, his breath warm on my skin. Stroking his fur sent ripples of heat through me, and in my half-sleep haze, I felt the undeniable realization. Our connection was deepening into something profound, almost forbidden in its intimacy. I tried dismissing it as loneliness's trick, but the feelings intensified. Max seemed to sense it too, always seeking proximity, his eyes never leaving me, as if an unseen force bound us beyond typical pet-owner ties. I needed him more than I'd admit, his presence filling gaps that human absence had carved. Restlessness plagued me one sleepless night, thoughts swirling like a storm. I wandered downstairs for water, returning to find Max on my side of the bed, waiting expectantly. Hesitantly, I slipped under the covers and he moved closer, his form molding against mine in a way that relaxed every tense muscle. The moonlight painted our room in soft shadows, and as his warmth enveloped me, my body responded instinctively, melting into the contact that bridged years of emptiness. I should have pulled away, but instead I lingered, feeling an unknown calm wash over me, a serenity unlike any since Robert's passing. It felt wrong, yet undeniably real. Two souls entwined in the quiet dark dot in the days that followed, confusion mingled with guilt as our closeness evolved. I couldn't deny the comfort, the subtle sensuality in our shared spaces, but whispers of doubt grew louder. Was this healthy? Max was loyal, unwavering, yet he couldn't truly replace the human intimacy I craved. Still, I clung to him, letting moments stretch where his touch soothed my aching heart. But as weeks passed, the truth dawned. This bond, while tender, was veering into uncharted territory, demanding I confront the depths of my isolation before it consumed me entirely. The weeks blurred into a haze of conflicting emotions, where guilt shadowed every tender moment with Max. His unwavering loyalty wrapped around me like a soft blanket, yet it carried an undercurrent of unease that I could no longer ignore. Mornings brought us gentle nudges, evenings his quiet presence at my side, each touch evoking a subtle sensuality that stirred long-dormant desires. But in the quiet hours alone, reality pressed in. This profound attachment, born from grief, had grown into something unhealthy, a crutch that threatened to deepen my isolation rather than heal it. I began to question how far I had let loneliness guide me, wondering if this bond was truly filling the void or merely masking it. As the realization settled, a quiet resolve took root. Max was extraordinary in his devotion, his eyes holding a depth that mirrored my own unspoken needs, but he could never bridge the human connections I had neglected. I started pulling back, gently redirecting my energy toward the world beyond our shared spaces. Emily's visits became more frequent, her warmth a reminder of the family ties I'd allowed to fade. One afternoon over tea, she noticed the shift in me. "Mom, you've been coming around more lately," she said, her voice laced with quiet joy. I smiled, feeling a flicker of regret for the years I'd withdrawn, but also gratitude for this chance to rebuild what loneliness had eroded. Reconnecting wasn't easy. Old habits lingered like whispers in the dark. Some evenings, when silence enveloped the house, I'd catch myself reaching for Max's comfort, tempted by the familiar warmth that once soothed my aching heart. But I reminded myself firmly this closeness, however comforting, crossed boundaries that needed guarding. He was my loyal companion, not the partner my soul truly sought. Gradually I enforced those lines, no more sharing the bed, only gentle strokes before settling him at my feet. The temptation tugged at me on darker nights, but determination held strong. Each small victory easing the pull of old patterns. Venturing outward felt foreign at first, like stepping into sunlight after years in shadow. I joined a local book club at the library, surrounded by women whose lives brimmed with stories of family and friendship. Initially, I felt out of place, my years of solitude making small talk awkward, laughter foreign. But as we discussed novels over steaming cups of tea, sharing thoughts on characters who echoed our own experiences, a lightness returned to my chest. Connections formed slowly, shared smiles, lingering conversations that reminded me how fulfilling human bonds could be, how they nourished in ways no silent companionship, however devoted, ever could. Max remained a constant in my days, his tail wagging happily during our walks, his presence a source of simple joy without the weight of deeper entanglement. I cherished him still, scratching behind his ears as he gazed up with those soulful eyes full of pure, unconditional love. Yet now I saw it clearly. That love was beautiful in its innocence, but it couldn't replace the intricate emotional tapestry, woven with people conversations that delved into shared histories, hugs that carried understanding beyond words. Autumn arrived with crisp air and falling leaves, and on one bright afternoon in the park, I watched others strolling with their dogs, chatting and laughing, and felt a profound sense of belonging stirring within me. Opening up to Emily came next, a vulnerable step that mended more than I anticipated. I shared the depths of my loneliness after Robert's passing, hinting at how heavily I'd leaned on Max for solace. She listened without judgment, her embrace tight and reassuring. "We're always here for you, Mom," she whispered, and for the first time I truly believed it. No longer did I have to navigate the pain alone. Family and friends stood ready, their support a lifeline I'd been too withdrawn to grasp. Max had been part of my healing journey, a gentle guide through the darkest stretches, but he couldn't be my entire world, nor should he. Looking back, I see how loneliness can weave intricate illusions, leading us to bonds that feel profound yet ultimately limit us. It had drawn me into an emotional intimacy with Max that blurred lines, born from grief's desperate search for connection. But recognizing it, choosing to step away, opened doors to richer fulfillments. Now, in the quiet evenings with Max resting peacefully at my feet, a natural peace settles over me. The house no longer echoes with emptiness. It's filled with the promise of visits, calls, and shared moments. I've learned to honor Robert's memory while embracing the living connections around me. Finding balance in love's many forms. True healing comes not from temporary solace, no matter how loyal or warm, but from the courageous reach toward others. Max will always hold a special place in my heart, my faithful friend who carried me through the storm. Yet the real light emerges in human ties, the ones that understand our complexities and mend our deepest wounds. As I sit here now feeling whole in ways I hadn't imagined possible, I know this journey has brought me home not just to this quiet house, but to myself and those who love me.